This is Duke University.
I like to define sustainable investment as the proactive integration of environmental, social, and governance factors into any investment decision in any asset class somewhere along the investment decision cycle. Sustainable investment has grown from leaps and bounds. In 1971 in the US, the PAX mutual fund was the first mutual fund collective investment scheme that was available to the average investor that explicitly looked to integrate ESG factors. They didn't call them that at the time, a so-called ethical fund or SRI fund. And ESG, environment, social governance, as an abbreviation, has become industry norm since about 2009. It's where the industry has moved forward. But since that time, the industry has grown. We've got data only in part because it was only in the mid-90s that the US Sustainable Investment Foundation started to track some of this information. And since 2012, the Global Sustainable Investment Alliance has looked to do that internationally. We know from their most recent study that they tracked around 24 trillion US dollars in some way was explicitly being managed, integrating environmental, social, and governance factors globally. But I know also from my own experience that there are other regions that weren't covered in that study that would make that number even higher. We have many positive trends in sustainable investment. We have the positive trend of there's more information available. There's more data. More than 7,000 companies today are reporting on their sustainability work in some way using the GRI framework. We have the SASB offering other versions of metrics to consider. So we have more data. Every investment decision is predicated on what is the quality of data that we can possibly get. And then how quickly can we turn around that investment decision? What is the best competitive advantage that information analysis will give us? So with more data on what companies are doing from an environmental, social, and governance angle, that'll improve the quality of information. So that's a key trend is there's more data to work with. But that also forces the competitive advantage of the investment professional into, well, how exactly are you going to analyze this information? That'll be the benefit. Previously, oftentimes it's just been, can you get the data point of what the water footprint is or how they're treating their employees? Another major trend would be the globalization of sustainable investment. There's more sustainable investment happening in more countries than ever before. Partly, it's because of global initiatives, for example, the Principles for Responsible Investment, the UN Environment Programme Finance Initiative, many other initiatives that are looking to grow this theme of sustainable investment. So you have professional talking to professional, academic talking to academic, and increased interest in making this happen in practice. And that's been an important aspect. I think also we're reaching a stage of maturation here in the second decade of the 21st century, where we have had some testing of models and frameworks and approaches that people are much more comfortable than they were even 10 years ago, looking at how shall I tilt my portfolio to reduce the carbon footprint? Well, how should I think about divesting from fossil fuels and what would the alternatives be? Or how long should I engage with the fossil fuel industry before I choose to exit that? For me, that would be a key trend. I think in terms of crystal ball, I think we'll get more asset classes emerging, something of a hybrid. You're already seeing a crossover between private equity and infrastructure. And with such a huge demand for developing new infrastructure and growing companies in frontier and emerging markets, there's going to be more and more opportunity for investors to collaborate in different ways, at different risk levels, in consortia, directly co-investing next to funds, and I picture there'll be more hybrids in the investment approaches that are actually executed between the asset owner and the asset manager. In 10 years from now, could I just be talking about investment? Because I talk about sustainable investment because it's something that's implicit but that has been missed. Somehow people thought you could manage money without thinking about the environmental, social, and governance issues. Again, philosophically, my view is they've always been there until they bite you, low probability, high risk events. I would like in 10 years simply be talking about investment. Here's investment. This is best practice investment. Investment in developed markets, in developing markets, in domestic markets and international markets. This is what investment looks like when you look at all factors that affect the future performance of your investment, of the underlying portfolio company or security in infrastructure, real estate, and so on.